this is something that can land Buhari in the International Criminal Court after he leaves the seat of the president. The dangers that are standing ahead of Buhari with this NSAS story, and anybody who standing in his way right now is going to get crushed. Yeah, what up people, what's good? It's Bye again. Welcome to my channel. If you're watching me for the first time, please kindly subscribe, like, and drop your comments, maybe while watching or after watching the video. This is a letter to Mr. Macaroni to tell him why he was arrested, how he was arrested, not how he was arrested physically, right? I mean how he was trapped into getting arrested, and how we can avoid the permanent arrest that the federal government is planning for him, because the fact is that the federal government is planning to arrest him and many other heavyweights activists of the NSAS protest. Mr. Macaroni might be parading himself as an activist or not. I don't know whether he accepts himself or acclaim himself as an activist, right? But what he has been doing about the NSAS thing is a form of activism, right? So number one thing is that I want to talk about how and why he was arrested. The fact is that there has been a camaraderie and show of force and show of power, let me just say a fight between the Tinubu faction of APC and the Buhari faction of APC. But I don't want to, this is not a party factional issue, but I have to go into this to make you guys understand what is actually going on, right? So the point is that the NSAS protest was a good protest, was a good initiative to suppress police brutality in the country. And when it was raised, even though the youths have been nurturing this idea, right, but it wasn't a nationwide blown protest like what we had in September and October, right? And let me tell you, for anything to be successful, it requires funding, and I'm not going to lie to you. NSAS protest was funded by some politicians who are not happy with the present administration, either for the sake of the general public or for their enmity with President Buhari. That is none of our business. The point is that the youth, we are getting oppressed, right? And we find maybe some people or whatever to boost the protest. That there's been NSAS protest for the past 10 years. NSAS as hashtag NSAS has been on the for the past 10 years, right? But in 2020, September and October 2020, it really gained a lot of traction, and this was due to some support from some political some support from big names, right? And some of them are politicians. Let's not be what's named to each other. So the point is that what the Buhari government did was to attend to the 5-point agenda. What are the 5-point agenda? Oh, the salary of the politicians should be increased, SARS should be scrapped, everything, and panels should be set up, several other things, right, to make it a 5-point agenda. And the government has attended, or they have attended and proven to the public that they have attended to anyone. And I can tell you that nobody can argue that the federal government hasn't attended to the 5-point agenda that the youth has given them as the conditions. After doing this thing, right, the Lekki massacre news came up, right, with some news, with some reasoning. The Lekki massacre thing could have probably happened. I know a lot of people don't like to hear the doubts about the Lekki massacre. The people die. Yeah. Look, calm down. Look, this is politics, not your family, whatever. Okay, so you have to calm down and see things as they are. Whatever you believe, whatever someone says, because Banky W says something, because DJ Switch says, look, that doesn't matter in court. That doesn't matter where people are being executed. That doesn't matter, even if people are killed, that doesn't matter to the family of the people that are killed. And that doesn't matter to the government that is going to suffer the consequences if they are found guilty. Right? So the truth is what matters here. And not just the truth, a truth beyond reasonable doubt. Right? Okay. The Lekki massacre thing came in two ways. I mean, there are two sides to there are two things that might have happened about the Lekki massacre. It is either the people that were shot were shot either on the other. No, there are three sides to that. Let me say there are three probability on what could have happened about the Lekki massacre story. The number one is that those people have been killed on the order of some on the order of the president, right? On the order of the president, or someone subservient to the president or taking orders from the president. That's number one. The second way is that either some enemies of the president, either in APC or in PDP, who have the ability to influence the soldiers, right? Someone like the governor can call the soldier to come into action. He can order them to go and do some things. Yeah, because even though they take orders directly from the federal government, right? But they are put in the state so that they can take orders from the state governors too, right? So they can only disobey the state governor only if they can only disobey the state governor only if the federal government has passed a parallel order against what the governor has said, right? And nobody was expecting a massacre. There's nobody who would be expecting 100. So the point is that it's either someone else, maybe the governor or someone like Tinubu, or that is being suspected to have, is one of the people that are suspected to have called for the action from the soldiers, or the massacre never happened at all. Okay, but the point right now is that according to the official reports, the official records, locally and internationally, even the CNN and the BBC, they were saying, yeah, people were massacred, there's some satellites recorded it, and shit. The point is, it has been proven, right, beyond any reasonable doubt, that the Lekki massacre never happened. Right? Now, the allegation was still going on that the Lekki massacre happened, and if this news continues to trend, this is something that can land Buhari in the International Criminal Court after he leaves the seat of the president. After immediately leave the seat of the president, just like look at what happened to Buratai and all these guys, right? They are like Nigerians, some big Nigerians, even the small Nigerians, the common Nigerians, they are asking the International Criminal Court and the World Court and the international community, right, to prosecute Buratai and all other retired security chiefs, army chiefs, that they should be prosecuted in the International Criminal Court. Why? Because they have allegations against them, and these guys don't even want to face those prosecutions. And let me tell you, these are only the army chiefs. These are only the army chiefs. Army chiefs, Nicolari. If this Lekki massacre thing continues and the noise is not succumbed by the president, there will be a clamor for Buhari to be jailed by the international community. Immediately leave the seat of the president. You see, if you are the president, Mr. Macaroni, even if you actually carried out that order, you passed that order, and which you have done something wrong as the president, assuming you are the president, try to get me clearly, assuming you, Mr. Macaroni, you are the president, and you have done that kind of a bad thing, and you are the president, and you have the power to erase that story, what do you think would happen? Of course, you would want to erase the story, and you would do anything to erase the story. That is to tell you that right now, Buhari is a moving train, and he will do anything to erase that story. I'm telling you the dangers that are standing ahead of Buhari with this NSAS story. And anybody who's standing in his way right now is going to get crushed. And he's going to get crushed and nothing will happen. Sorry. It's not because Nigeria is lawless, not because, look, not only in Nigeria, even in America, there's some political assassinations that hasn't been resolved for the past 100 years. And not only that, so that is if Buhari actually passed the order. Even if Buhari didn't pass the order, and some people have actually manipulated the army to carry out that evil task, do you think Buhari will open his eyes and watch himself walk into jail when he could have avoided it? No. We have crushed police brutality to an extent in this country. Even though there is still police brutality, people are still getting harassed by the police, but it has been brought down to the minimum level. Let's not be somehow to ourselves. We have brought it down to the. Of course, it's not what it used to be. Police brutality is not more what it used to be in this country anymore, right? Everything changed after August. Even it's more or less like even policemen now beg for their own respect on the street. But well, the point is, let's congratulate ourselves, the Nigerian youth, for that, and let's accept our loss, even if it is temporary acceptance. Let's accept our loss over this Lekki toll gate thing. Because the point is, things like this happen severally. It happens in countries. It happens in. You see, I tell people a lot. Doing the right things protects the people. Good institutions protect the people. The law protects the people, but nothing protects the people 100%. The politicians are going to get away with some evils. Let's be realistic with ourselves. But how strong the institutions are, how strong the people are, how strong the laws are, will determine how less the evil the politicians are going to get away with. There are some things, right? So I'm not saying you should let politicians get away with things, right? I'm only saying not at the expense of your life, right? Even though during fights for freedom, right? Lives get lost. A lot of things get lost just to get freedom sometimes, because you have to fight for it. You can't beg your oppressor for freedom, right? But at the stage Nigeria is now, I can tell you that if you try to fight for freedom violently or anyhow without applying wisdom, I'm telling you, a lot of things are going to be lost, including lives, and the freedom will still not be gotten. So that's number one. But in case let me quickly say this: the likes of Mr. Macaroni, Mr. Macaroni and his Mr. Macaroni and his colleagues who were arrested that day, they were trapped. And how were they trapped? The reason is because in the some of the people who are the youth representative in the NSAS panel, they have been bought. They have been bought by the federal government to influence others, to go to the protest. They were bought by some people to influence others to go to the protest. Why they stay at home? And do you know why they did this? They did this so that they can arrest the coconut heads, the Rino, the Mr. Macaroni and Co., so that they can arrest them. And only the people they can control, only the people they can butt over and silence with money, are going to remain as NSAS fighters. And I'm telling you that right now, the likes of Mr. Macaroni are going to be prosecuted in court, and they are going to have court cases. They are going to have ups and downs of legal proceedings, and with that, whenever they want to prove any stubbornness, right, they will add to their charges and send them to some jail. Then you apply for bail, then they release them, right? And whenever, look at Showori now, right? Whenever they release him, you'll be free. Whenever he stage another protest, they will send him back to jail. And whenever he do another thing, they will add more to all the charges they have on him, right? And put him on house arrest. Sometimes they restrict him to one state, seize his international passport and all these things. Are you getting it? So that they can have a rope on the neck of the people they can't buy over, like Mr. Macaroni and others, so that they can have a neck a rope on their neck to control them, right? So they have bought the people they can buy over. So those ones, the like of Mr. Macaroni, don't know this, and I see Debo as one of the people who actually did that. Why? Because when a lot of people were saying, oh, this protest should be avoided, the Saturday morning Occupy Lekki toll gate protest, right? The likes of Debo Adebayo encouraged people on Twitter to go out for the protest, right? Because he said, oh, he's with the NSAS, so the NSAS people should protest, the this and that. But eventually, after people have been arrested, So actually, before those arrests were made, and he said it was with the NSAS people. All NSAS protesters can go out and protest, right? He was supporting NSAS, but he was saying, he's not in support of the revolution now people, right? I'm not here to campaign for revolution. I don't care about. I don't give a shit about it. Saying you are in support of NSAS after government has provided what they want, right? And you are not in support of revolution. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Because if you are looking at things technically, it is like you are trying to push the NSAS people out. Look at the revolution now. The revolution now people are not compromising. They are not compromising. They don't have any settlement, any panel talk with the president. They just want Buhari to go. And if you look at the NSAS thing before they set up the panel, when they were saying the protest should stop, Debo handled the what's the name? The conference, the Zoom meeting with Elumelu and Dangotes and what's the name, right? On behalf of those guys were representing the federal government. So Debo was standing as the intermediary or the barrier between the Dangote, the elites, and the youths. So that they can come to a compromise and set up the panels and all these things. But at the end of the day, so that was what he said, and then he was saying, we should compromise and we should sit down with the government and talk things out about the Lekki toll gate thing. And he has really immediately after the protest, immediately after the panel, Debo has been against more protest. So when it was a few days to occupy Lekki toll gate protest, it was cheering people out. It was cheering people up like, go out and protest this and that. But it was cheering people up, but telling I'm not supporting the revolution now. There's nothing you can do to the revolution now, people. I want you gear anymore. So it was pushing people out. I'm not sure of this, but I heard Debo was in Lagos. But he didn't come out to protest. Many other people who supported and were cheering people out and were cheering people up for the Occupy Lekki toll gate protest that happened on the 13th of February 2021. Most of them didn't come out. The people who came out were called at late hours, right? Even some of them even wanted to cancel it. Anybody who is on Twitter would really would be aware of this. They even wanted to cancel the protest. And if you listen to Mr. Macaroni too, Mr. Macaroni said he was at where he wanted to shoot and he was called. He only went there to join them to see what happened, and eventually he had to join the protest too. You see? What was I not you? Well, anyway, you guys, Mr. Macaroni should be careful. Mr. Macaroni should be careful, and he should accept the defeat on the Lekki toll gate thing. Even if it is just temporary. He might come back after Buhari is gone. Even though after Buhari is gone, Buhari will make sure that the people that will be in government after him are going to be the people that can protect him. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So if you know you care about yourself and you are not collecting money from Atiku like people say, even though, I'm not going to lie. I once thought of it that maybe you were sponsored too, because for some reasons, there are some things that I actually saw too. But it is what it is. Whatever it is. Protect yourself first. Protect yourself first as much as you can. Protect yourself as much as you can. Salute your strength. I salute your solidarity toward making this country a better one. And I pray that none of us is going to lose our lives in this struggle, right? And whenever Nigeria is better, we will not be nowhere to be found. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, right? Toward the end of this video, I might have beat around the bush, but sorry, I have to make those points. So that's it. Thank you.